Welcome to Yes Please Perth and another night at Fringe. We're going to start with the 10-second sell. So Natalie.
The first show that Act React is presenting here at Fringe World is called Speed, the Movie, the Play. Now, if you remember the 90s, you might remember Keanu Reeves' blockbuster film Speed. We have recreated that movie as a comedy play set on an actual bus.
From what I understand, I believe the most novel Fringe venue this season.
You are actually in a bus. So what happened was Dan Beeston, Greg Robotham and me, we are the three co-writers. And we came up with this crazy idea of what if you could recreate a movie, like a big budget movie on a low budget. Mm-hmm. And Speed came to mind as a film that we all loved as kids and young people in the 90s. And then we thought, you'd never be able to do that because where would you get a bus? It turns out that around the country, and I imagine around the world, there are organisations of bus enthusiasts who preserve and protect and restore historic buses. So we were able to link up with them, here in Perth, with the local bus groups, and we use one of their beautiful vintage buses. The bus really is the main star of the show, and people they jump on and they go, I used to go to school on a bus like this, or I remember my parents talking about buses like this. So they're just full of character. So it's a wonderful chance for people to enjoy a comedy show, but also this really lovely historic vehicle. So the show is designed to be a roller coaster. Right. So the idea is that it's constantly moving. Even though the bus is stationary, I just do want to point that out. We create special effects on a low budget scale to make it seem like the bus is moving. So we have, props and actors running down beside the bus. We have sort of shadow puppetry.
Has there anything that's gone wrong during the show while you've been running alongside buses?
The fact that we're an outside performance means that anything could go wrong in a way that inside performances don't have to deal with. The main one was when we were doing Perth Fringe World the first time, 4 years ago. The sprinkler system went off where we were. There was like grass area next to where we were performing, and all of a sudden, boom, all these sprinklers went off. And we're like, and of course we have technical gear and lights, and we were scrambling to put plastic over them and work out what was happening. And then I think the next night we sorted out to turn off the sprinklers, but then it rained. So again, we had to scramble. So thankfully this season has been a lot clearer in terms of weather, which has been great, but it's all part of the charm. And I think some of the best moments in the show have been when the audience knows that something has slightly gone wrong and we're course correcting, because it shows that it really is, it is different every night.
So you've been at Perth a couple of times already, and this time you're bringing Puppies vs Kittens as well.
Yes.
Another show later on in the Fringe season.
Amy Curry and we have written and performed a show called Love Hate Actually for the last couple of years at Fringe World, which we did in Edinburgh Fringe last year, and it's about how she loves the movie Love Actually and I hate it. So we have this kind of love-hate dynamic going on, and people kept asking us, what are you going to argue about next? And so we finally settled on Puppies versus Kittens. So I'm on Team Kitten, she's Team Puppy, and we're going to be getting the audience involved to help us, decide each night who is right. So we're hoping for some high emotions and very cute animals.
What else are you looking forward to seeing at Fringe World? Are there other artists you've seen or anything you recommend?
I would recommend Luke Boland, who's a friend of Act React's, a local Perth comic. He's only on for a few more nights and we don't get to see him because we're performing, so please go and see him on my behalf. I'd also recommend Chris Martin. He's a comedian from Brisbane coming out with a show called Claw Machine. I'd recommend Anastasia. It's about her grandmother, who was a Lithuanian woman during the war, so all this kind of unravelling her grandmother's history.
You can catch Natalie and the cast of Speed, the movie, the play, up at the Girls' School up until the 25th of Jan, and then Puppies vs Kittens at the Ice Cream Factory a bit later on in February. Natalie, thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful Fringe.
Thank you so much, David. You too.